Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we diving deep into one of the most celebrated war films ever made. David Lean's 1957 masterpiece, The Bridge on the River Kwai. This isn't just a story about war. It's a profound exploration of obsession, duty, and the madness that can arise from the collision of different cultures and codes of honor. Our story begins in 1943, deep within the harsh jungles of Burma. A group of British prisoners of war, weary and defeated, march into a Japanese POW camp. This camp is run by the stern and uncompromising Colonel Sessue. His mission is simple: to construct a crucial railway bridge over the River Kwai by a strict deadline. This bridge is a vital part of the Burma Railway, also known as the Death Railway, and Sessue is under immense pressure from his superiors to complete it on time. Among the newly arrived prisoners is Lieutenant Colonel Nicholson, a quintessential British officer, stiff upper lip, impeccably disciplined and driven by an unwavering belief in military regulations and the proper way of doing things. From the moment they arrive, a clash of wills ignites between Sessue and Nicholson. Sessue declares that all prisoners, regardless of rank, will perform manual labor on the bridge. This directly violates the Geneva Convention, which states that officers are exempt from such work. Nicholson, seeing this as an affront not just to his rank but to the very fabric of military order and discipline, refuses to comply. He orders his officers to stand firm. Sessue, whose own code of honor is tied to absolute authority and the successful completion of his mission, cannot back down. What follows is a brutal test of endurance. Sessue tries to break Nicholson's spirit through public humiliation and torture, locking him in a scorching hot metal box known as the oven. But Nicholson refuses to yield. As days turn into a week, the situation in the camp deteriorates. The enlisted men, under the clumsy supervision of Japanese engineers, are making a mess of the bridge construction. Their efforts are disorganized and sabotaged, resulting in little to no progress. Sessue's deadline looms, and the shame of failure weighs heavily on him. He realizes he cannot build the bridge without the expertise and cooperation of the British prisoners. In a moment of quiet desperation, he relents. He agrees to abide by the Geneva Convention, releasing Nicholson and allowing the British officers to supervise their own men. For Nicholson, this isn't just a victory. It's a validation of his entire belief system. He believes that by maintaining their discipline and standards, the British have proven their superiority. Now he sees a new opportunity. Instead of continuing to sabotage the project, he decides his men will build the bridge. But they won't just build it. They will build a proper, well-engineered, and lasting monument. His logic is twisted, but in his mind, perfectly clear. Building a superior bridge will be a testament to the ingenuity and character of the British soldier. It will be something that stands long after the war, a symbol that even in captivity, they maintain their standards and morale. He becomes completely consumed by the project, driving his men with a fervor that borders on obsession. He meticulously plans the design, organizes the workforce, and demands perfection. The bridge becomes his entire world, a substitute for the battlefield he has been denied. While Nicholson is lost in his monumental project, another story is unfolding. An American Navy commander, Shears, who was also a prisoner in the camp, manages a daring escape. He endures a grueling journey through the jungle and is eventually rescued, finding himself in a British hospital in Ceylon. He thinks his war is over, that he can finally go home. But fate has other plans. The Allied Command, specifically a special operations unit called Force 316, learns about the strategic importance of the new bridge being built on the River Kwai. They know it will significantly aid the Japanese war effort. They need someone who knows the terrain, someone who has been there. And that someone is Shears. Despite his protests and his desire to return to a comfortable life, he is persuaded, or rather blackmailed, into joining a commando mission. His task is to return to the place he just escaped from and destroy the very bridge that Nicholson is so painstakingly building. Shears is teamed up with a small group of commandos, including the British Major Warden and a young, idealistic officer named Joyce. They parachute into the jungle and begin the perilous trek back to the river. This journey highlights the brutal reality of war, a stark contrast to the almost insulated project-focused world Nicholson has created back at the camp. As the two storylines converge, the film builds to an incredibly tense and ironic climax. Nicholson's bridge is complete. It's a magnificent structure, a source of immense pride for him and his men. A ceremony is planned for the inaugural crossing of a Japanese troop train. At the same time, Shears and his team have arrived. Working under the cover of darkness, they plant plastic explosives on the bridge's supports, running a wire to a detonator hidden on the riverbank. Their plan is to blow the bridge just as the train is crossing it. The morning of the ceremony arrives. The river level has dropped overnight, exposing the wires they laid. As the train approaches, Nicholson, making a final proud inspection of his creation, spots the wire. Initially confused, he follows it, with a horrified Sato close behind. They discover the detonator where Joyce is waiting for the signal to plunge it. A struggle ensues. Nicholson, in a moment of sheer madness, tries to prevent the destruction of his bridge. He yells for help, alerting the Japanese guards. In the ensuing firefight, Joyce is killed. Warden fires a mortar from a distance, hitting Shears, who falls into the river. The chaos is absolute. And then, in his final moments, as he lies dying from a mortar fragment, Nicholson finally understands the horrific irony of what he has done. He looks at the bridge, at the approaching train, and at the bodies around him. He utters the famous line, "What have I done?" With his last ounce of strength, he collapses onto the plunger of the detonator. The bridge explodes in a spectacular display of destruction, taking the train and everyone on it down into the river below. The monument to British pride and obsession is annihilated. Major Warden, watching the devastation from afar, can only lament the madness of it all. The film ends on this powerful, tragic note, leaving us to ponder the futility and insanity of war, where codes of honor and personal obsessions can lead to catastrophic consequences. The Bridge on the River Kwai is a timeless classic, because it explores these complex human themes with such brilliance. It's a story that stays with you long after the credits roll. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this summary and analysis, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into classic cinema, and let me know in the comments what you think of this incredible film. See you next time.